We getting it, boy.
What's good? You know who it is. It's your boy, Jay in the Bay.
Your baller back again. Smells like football season.
Yo. Whoa.
Faithful Niner Empire. What's good? You know who it is. It's your boy, Jay in the Bay. And we're back again with another Straight Out of the Bay production. It's a special night for us. It's a Tuesday night. To my right, we got Kelts Chronicles. Underneath us, we have Bay Area Baller 18. How's everyone doing tonight? I'm glad you guys are joining us. But how's everyone's summer so far? Let's start off with Eric. How you doing this summer, man?
Hey, I'm doing great, fellas. Glad to be here. Like the intro says, smells like football season. And, Sundays are about to get a whole heck of a lot better. Just, spending 8 hours on the couch, watching NFL Red Zone, then being locked in on the Niners. I love it. This time of year is something I always look forward to. And it's a Tuesday. Usually we meet up on Monday, but hey, we had to get that Tuesday presser reaction in, and I'm excited to be here, fellas.
Hey, man. Hey, likewise. It is going up on a Tuesday. Let's get it, man. Hey, it's good to be back. We got some stuff to talk about. Hey, the summer, man, hey, it's been good, man. It's been good. I'm out here in Vallejo, so the weather's always nice, man. We went camping maybe a week or two back. But I did want to say we went to a place called Amador Lake. First time I ever been there. But I do want to let the viewers and you two know, if you guys ever go camping, there's a place called Snowflower. And there's a place 5 minutes away from it called Emerald Pools. Emerald Pools, bro. It's absolutely beautiful. It's like a little piece of Hawaii, probably, it's probably an hour from Sacramento. So it's a hidden little gem up there. Emerald Pools, man. Y'all got to check it out.
Will do. And while you're on that note, I'm counting down the days to Hawaii. So, hey, 4 days out. I'm heading there Saturday. So I'm excited, man. Summer's going real good. Jay, I want to hear from you.
Hey, man. I would say summer's been excellent so far. Just trying to hang out with the fam as much before school starts. I know school starts in 2 or 3 weeks. Everyone's schedule is probably different, but yeah, just trying to spend that quality time with the fam before school starts. And it's actually a summer in the Bay Area. I don't know what the hell was going on earlier. It was cold. It was overcast, but we've gotten some nice hot weather the past few days, few weeks. So, man, I'm just enjoying the sun. And, this is the eve of 49ers training camp, and I'm definitely looking forward to it. I don't know if anyone else, the people watching right now, tried to get some Niners tickets to the training camp, but I was not successful at all. I guess I was just lucky during the pandemic. I was able to go, but hey, maybe better luck next year. I guess that's all I can say. But as Bay Area Baller mentioned, man, it smells like football. We're actually going to see guys, not in pads yet, but at least in shorts and jerseys and helmets, throwing the pigskin around, running routes, not hitting people, but simulating hitting people, I guess. But we are less than about 10 hours from training camp, and I'm super excited for it. And that's the reason why we've had this show tonight on a Tuesday, a special day. But we got to get into, obviously, the Niners had a press conference today. Lynch, Shanahan, obviously the big news came about Brock Purdy cleared to practice. So got to talk about that. Kelts Chronicles, let's kick it off with you. What were your thoughts when you heard the news that Brock Purdy, a.k.a. Mr. Irrelevant, cleared to practice? He's going to take first team reps in training camp. Your thoughts?
My thoughts was, to be honest, weirdly, I wasn't hella surprised. I'm not sure why I wasn't hella surprised, but, man, I almost had like a little bit of a relief, man. To be honest, I was like, hey, man, we know exactly what direction we're going in. We know who it is, we know when it is, we know why it is. It didn't really. I don't know. It's kind of hard to explain, man. I should have been like shocked or surprised, and typically I'm a dramatic type person, and um, it was just okay. Hey, we know that. One thing I was shocked about is the few questions that got asked about Trey Lance. It's like it would immediately get backed up by someone else asking about Brock Purdy. I was like, dang, hey, there's not a lot being said about Trey, so it is what it is. That was my initial take with Brock Purdy. I wasn't hella surprised, but at the same time, I was weirdly kind of like, okay, hey, we know what it is. We know what's up. Hopefully he's not being rushed back to soon. Bro, streaming from the Niners locker room. That's what it is. Hey, look, hey, that helmet is shiny. That helmet is shiny. Hey, what up, Melissa? Hey, what up, everybody? What up, Outta Faithful? Man, it's good to be chopping it up. Seeing your guys' comments, chopping it up with my fellas right here, man. So it's just good to, be here. And there were a few other takes that I had, on the press conference, but I was weirdly not very shocked. That was my initial feeling about it.
What about you, E?
Man, I was surprised. I got to be honest. I thought they were going to kind of slow play this thing with Brock, and I was even thinking, is he going to start the year on the PUP? I really thought they were going to just, like I said, slow play it and then kind of see what you have in Trey Lance. I thought maybe it was like the perfect excuse to be like, hey, you know what, Brock, you sit out the first couple. Trey, let's see what you got. And if Trey was balling out of control, then he steals this job, then that'd be his. But it doesn't look like that's the route they're going. Actually, it's not the route they're going. Fellas, I was taking some notes on what was said by John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan. And John Lynch, Brock's cleared. He's ready to go. Then you got Kyle Shanahan saying Brock will take the first team reps when he's out there. And the when he's out there, he clarified Brock's going to be taking some days off. He's not going to practice 3 days in a row. Right. So they are kind of taking things slow. So I guess that is going to give some extra reps to Lance, to Darnold. But I was surprised by it. I was not expecting Brock Purdy to be this far along at this point.
Yeah, I have to echo your sentiments. I was surprised as well. I thought they would take maybe a cautious approach, maybe put him on that PUP list, like ease him back into the action. But I think it goes to show, Brock Purdy's tenacity and his willingness to try to get back on the field as soon as possible. John Lynch kind of echoed that several times. This is all on Brock. Brock put in the work. Brock was, put the time into the offseason to try to get back and get healed. And I think him being cleared for practice is a testament to that. And honestly, when I heard the news, I ain't gonna lie, I was definitely happy for Brock, but I was disappointed for Trey on this. He's just not going to get that opportunity. He's not going to get the reps that he needs in order to, establish himself as a starting quarterback in the NFL. You look at other guys that have gone top 3 pick. You look at a Sam Darnold, and it's funny because he's on our team now, but he was given several opportunities to try to win that starting job with the Jets. I think of Marcus Mariota because we just watched that Netflix quarterback show. Great show. Looking forward to season 2. But he was given multiple seasons to try to get that to lock down that starting role. And unfortunately, it just doesn't seem like Trey Lance will get that opportunity with the Niners. So it's definitely unfortunate. If I'm Trey Lance, if I'm his camp, I think it's clear that the Niners made a mistake in drafting Trey Lance. If you're not going to give him the opportunity to start, I know they did last year. He ended up getting hurt, but it just sucks that we're not going to be able to see the full potential from Trey. So happy for Brock, but definitely disappointed for Trey. I would love to hear.
Jay, I think there's a chance that we do see Trey, just in terms of look at how many quarterbacks have been injured the last 5 years under Kyle Shanahan. You know, we've had a multitude of injuries. We know what happened last year. So while Brock Purdy, you know, I wouldn't even say he's penciled in. It looks like he's written in Sharpie
permanent marker
to be the starter week 1. At least that's the vibe I get. That being said, man, I wouldn't bet nothing, you know, that he lasts 17 games.
Yeah.
It's a lot of games.
It's only happened twice in Shanahan's tenure where the starting quarterback from week 1 has played 90% of the snaps. So it's only 2 seasons out of 7. So you're right.
Hey,
you're right.
Anything can happen with 49er football. I mean, it's just words right now. It's just words. You know, what's good? Hey, it's just words right now. And at the same time, do y'all notice? I feel like ever since Brock Purdy took over, there was this kind of calm that came over mostly Kyle Shanahan. It's easy to look at Brock and say, hey, man, look at his confidence. But I feel like Kyle Shanahan kind of like, all right, what the heck do I got to lose now, man? It's like I'm down to Mr. Irrelevant. It feels like he stopped being so tense. I don't know if y'all noticed that, but even in the presser, like when I hear Kyle Shanahan talking when it comes to Brock Purdy on the field, play calling, talking in press conferences, it seems like Kyle is joking more. Like he's just he's got this little bit of calm and he's not so tight, intense. And I get that vibe. Like Kyle's like, hey, this is my guy. You know, I'm rolling with Brock. You know, I don't know why. Who knows why he kind of tenses up whenever it comes to Trey or anybody else, even Garoppolo. You know, it felt that same struggle, that same vibe, you know, and that's something I have noticed whenever it comes to Brock. I don't know if Brock just has that vibe about him, you know, or what it is, but I do know the quarterback and the head coach, that relationship is one of the most important when it comes to football. And hey, if this is direction we're going in, hey, continue to build on it, Kyle. Don't revert back. You know what I'm saying? Just trust got a lot to do with it. So, hey, man, let's get it.
I think you said it at the end. Trust. I think Shanahan trusts Brock Purdy. I don't think Brock Purdy makes Shanahan nervous, and I'm sure Shanahan is like, well, what the hell? It's a 7th round pick. And, you know, he led us 8-game winning streak into the playoffs riding hot. So I think this is what Shanahan wants. Unfortunately, with Trey there's still mystery surrounding him. Really don't know what we have in Trey. And, you know, hey, we may get to see that. But unfortunately, if we do, that means that there's been a setback with Brock. So, you know, but I think that's why Shanahan is at ease. He's confident with Brock because, hey, the last time we saw Brock, outside of that Philly game, you know, he played pretty well.
He's dicing teams up, man. You know, I'm looking forward to seeing Brock out there because it was the best quarterback play. That stretch that he had was some of the best quarterback play that, I mean, we've seen. I think it was better than anything Jimmy Garoppolo gave us over, you know, a 7-8 game span. You know, maybe going back to a hot Kaepernick run. You know, Cap had some good runs. That being said, fellas, I haven't talked to you guys really about Trey Lance and the mechanics that are coming out. We see these videos circulating, and boy, oh boy, Lance is looking good, man. That release is looking quick.
The hips.
It's just, yeah, you know, and Jeff Christensen, you know, in the videos, you see Christensen coaching him up, and I want to hear what you guys thought about it, but Shanahan was brought up, Christensen was brought up to Shanahan, and I thought Kyle kind of like downplayed it. Like he didn't really want to give Jeff Christensen any credit for the improved mechanics. He's like, no, Trey's the one who's been working. And he's like, all the quarterbacks work with guys, you know, but it's like, dude, this dude Jeff Christensen's got Trey Lance. You know, we haven't quite seen it on the field yet, but dude, the clips coming out are looking good. I think Lance's mechanics are right. The release is fast. Like, I like where this is going with Trey, man. That's why I don't want to give up on this kid. I don't.
Hey, I'm right there with you, Baller. It's like Y'all know me. Anybody who knows me, still the same OG. No, I'm kidding. nah, but, but it's like, of course, like, hey, I threw a tweet out. I was like, the thing about the deep ball threat and the big arm that Trey Lance got is it's not about the highlights. It's not about the, oh man, that was sexy. It's about how it can open it up. It's how it can make everything else easier. It can take the pressure and the beating off of the rest of the team off. It makes it, we've seen it with Jimmy Garoppolo over and over again. Even, hey, we might have had a winning record, but it was a struggle. It was a grind. And you want to build a callus, right? Like, you want to build a callus, but you want to have enough gas in the tank for the 12th round. If you run out of gas because your calluses are, starting to build a freaking pus bubble or whatever, it's going to pop. You're going to see injuries. You're going to see, the endurance go down and whatnot. So that's my big thing about Trey Lance. I could care less about the highlights. I just want to see the entire field opened up. I want to see the domination, not this struggle and this grueling grind. I know it's football. I love that smash mouth type of style, but at the same time, when it comes to Super Bowl time, if you don't got a Patrick Mahomes, you better have everybody firing on all cylinders. And if the rest of your team is getting beat down, because I don't want to say dinking and dunking, but just the grueling style. You know what I'm saying?
It's harder to put together 12 to 14 play drives, as opposed to, hey, you could hit a big one, for a 60-yard tud. Maybe it was a 5-play drive like that.
How many times? When was the last time we just seen, Steve Young and Jerry Rice back in the day have their ball caps on, kind of like the Warriors, where they'd be able to chill in the fourth quarter, because they're beating teams down. They're that stuff adds up.
They did it in Super Bowls. They did it in Super Bowls, dog, where they're up. The Niners are up three or four scores against the Bengals, and they're pulling guys.
Real talk. I did want to touch on Trey Lance's mechanics. I see the hips moving. It reminds me, hey, bro, it's that fast twitch, in the hip.
That
hey, man, if y'all ever fight or box, or whatever, man, hey, if you know how to, hey, go watch Mike Tyson, man. Hey, some of his most grueling, just hits. It's from the feet, it's from the hips, and when you get
baseball
from the toes,
too, baseball too, it's boom, it's that hip action.
And I've seen the hips moving when it comes to Trey. I've seen it just, people are joking. Oh my God, he threw 3 spirals. Like, hey man, it looks good, but that's why I don't put a lot of weight in what Kyle's saying right now, or Lynch, because it's just words. At the beginning, middle, and end of the day, there's no telling how the season's going to play out. I think Trey and Brock have both shown tremendous drive on, regardless of who provides the quarterback trainer. I just see when Trey Lance when he's going out doing those things with Christensen or Mahomes, that's showing the drive. That's showing the it's just showing all those intangibles that you want to see with the franchise quarterback. And Brock Purdy, we haven't seen a lot of stuff behind the scenes, but with him being this ahead of schedule, that just goes to show it. What up, Dion? What up, Brian Cope? What up with all y'all? Good to see y'all.
Yeah, appreciate everyone tuning in to the stream tonight. I know there's a lot of 49er content creators going live today, tonight, right now. So we appreciate everyone that could tune in to the Straight Out of the Bay YouTube channel. Also follow us, of course, on all our YouTube channels, Kelts Chronicles, Bay Area Baller 18, and Jay in the Bay, whichever channel you're watching on. We appreciate it. As Kelts was saying, we got Bryant in the building, Niner Gang, Melissa, Steve-O, Dorado, Libby's World was in here, Ramelia Sports Report, Siegen. We appreciate everyone tuning in tonight. And hey, let's continue on. Let's see. Wanted to talk about Trey Lance a little bit, and put yourself in the Trey Lance shoes. How are you feeling today, knowing that a 7th round pick basically just took your job? If you're Trey Lance, would you want to be traded at this point? I'll start it off. if you're Trey Lance, if I'm Trey Lance, I can't realistically think that I would be named the starter after watching Purdy the back half of the season. I think that would be unrealistic to think that they would just give you the job if we're being real. Now, would I want to be traded, given that Shanahan can't keep a quarterback healthy? It may be in Lance's best interest just to stay put and win that second QB job. And that's a shame that they haven't even given Lance the backup job. They're like, nah, he's got to compete with Sam Darnold. that's just that's crazy to me. Obviously, Darnold's got more experience, but he's failed wherever he's been, and it's like that's how little they think of Trey Lance. So, but Trey Lance, he said from day one, I just want to compete. I just want to prove that I belong, and that's what he has to do. If I was Trey Lance, would I want to be traded? I mean, what other situation could be better than he's at right now? Or that there's no situation if he gets traded today, tomorrow, they're not going to name him the starter. So he's going to be potentially in the same position. So if I was Lance, I would probably want to stay put. But if I was Lance's camp, his agent, I might want to look for elsewhere. What do you say, Bay Area baller? Put yourself in Lance's shoes. How do you feel? And would you want to be traded?
Putting myself in Lance's shoes, you got to control what you can control. Okay. It's out of your hands. Brock, he healed up. That being said, what I'm doing, if I'm Trey Lance, I'm showing up every day and you're going to get the best version of me. Because if you're not going to play me, there's going to be a team out there that is going to play me at some point. Someone's going to give me a chance. So I'm going to be working on perfecting my craft and showing you guys. In the meantime, I'm showing you guys, look, this is what you're going to be missing out. Oh, 50-yard laser to Danny Gray. Boom. Purdy can't do that. I'm showing all these guys, Kyle, John, hey, this is what you're missing out on. I'm improved. I'm getting better. I'm going to hit that ceiling that we all know is freaking sky high. So, like I said, Trey, you got to control what you can control. You just try to win every rep. You do everything you can to show these guys that you're ready to play, and you want to get better. Now, am I asking for a trade? No. It may be in the off season. I could see that potentially, but I don't want to be moved right now because I guess if it was like today, I'd be okay because at least now I do have training camp to try to pick up a system. Like I think getting traded mid-season is really hard. That's why I had so much respect for what Baker Mayfield did with the Rams. It was like the same week that he got traded there, he played and like he did solid. And that actually had always kind of went against what I thought. I was always like, oh, no, quarterback takes at least a month. At least a month. You got to learn the system, learn the plays, get the chemistry with the wide receivers. So Baker kind of made me look foolish because it was like – but I still think that's a bit of an anomaly. So if I'm Trey, I don't want to go to like some scrub team right now. And I don't think that's going to put my best foot forward. I would rather stay with the Niners. Hey, you never root for a teammate to get injured, but injuries happen, especially if you're a quarterback on the 49ers. So I would stay here. But, if I didn't get the opportunity to play this season, then, in the off season, I'm probably asking my agent, telling him I want out.
Man, if I'm Trey, I'm over here like, man, I'm a millionaire. I'm young. I'm single. No, I just bought me a freaking Mercedes, whatever it was. He done just all seriousness. If I'm Trey and I'm looking at football, I'm just licking my chops. I'm like, just watch when I get my next opportunity. I'm sitting here. I'm staying prepared. I'm staying ready, like sugar-free. Watch when, hey, man, if you stay ready, you don't got to get ready. Like, hey, I'm going to keep on putting in my work regardless. If I would like to think, if I'm Trey, hey, I love football. And I'm going to get my opportunity. And when I get it, regardless of when it comes, how it comes, why it comes, when it comes, I'm going to be on it. I'm not going to be timid. I'm going to make sure my accuracy is on point. My touch is on point. I'm hitting my layups, whatever I got to do by any means necessary. That's just the way I'm looking at it. I'm going to remain humble. I ain't going to let the noise affect me. I'm going to stay working, and my op's going to come. It's going to be hard, man. It's going to, especially from Trey. It's like he was not given the job, but hey, man, he was the number one. He was the number one dude last year, and that's after waiting his turn from Garoppolo. So it's kind of like, I can only imagine, the stress that did. I know it's in the past now, but just going from being the guy, Garoppolo comes back, not being the guy, getting hurt, not being the guy, thinking you might have a chance to be the guy again. And then it kind of gets, that's a lot of ups and downs. And he's kind of been going through that throughout his even college career, always having to earn his way, fight his way, deal with adversity, all the hate, all the noise. Who knows how much he sees and, how much that affects him. But he did mention something months back about, mental health and, just talking to somebody. So, he hears it, he sees it. So, just remain, just maintain and elevate and continue being you and just, stay ready and know that your op is going to come. And, hey, kind of like what Purdy did, you got to take full advantage of it when it comes and just take off like Ayuk said. You muted, bro, I think. Okay.
My bad. It's got to be a tough situation for Trey Lance to be in. Obviously, he's not digging ditches, he's not, bricklaying or whatever. But we're talking as an NFL player, it's a tough situation to be in a building where, hey, the guys that are in charge don't believe in you and they think that someone is better than you. But I like what you guys said, Eric and Rich, that you just have to be mentally strong. 49er Jeff also said that as well. You got to be mentally strong. And when you get your opportunity, you have to be ready and you have to show up and show out because you technically are auditioning for every other team in the NFL that needs a quarterback. I just real quick. I looked up these teams that could be just hypothetical landing spot for Trey. The Washington Commanders, they don't have a franchise quarterback. Tennessee Titans,
whoa,
I'm sure.
Whoa.
Oh, who?
I like Sam Howell. Kind of like.
Oh, really? Oh, Sam Howell. He's the next big thing in DC.
He can run a little bit.
Yeah, he can.
I mean, at North Carolina, he was slinging that rock around.
Right.
But
right.
I'm gonna let you rattle off these teams.
Yeah.
I'll just throw in that Trey Lance is an injury away. I think if a team suffers an injury at the quarterback position, they're going to be on the phone with John saying, hey, Trey, I have a feeling he's going to look good in preseason, and teams are going to that's going to kind of spark their interest. Injury happens, they're going to hit up John like, hey, man, what's up with Trey? Third rounder? John's going to be like, nah, we want at least a 2, maybe 2 twos. Anyway, Commanders, keep going with your squad.
Commanders, Tennessee Titans, Tannehill. I'm sure his time is almost up in Tennessee. Haven't really done much since he's been there.
Because I did the same exercise as you.
Yeah.
I just did this exercise too. And so they drafted Will Levis, but I know Ram Carthon was just with the Niners, and now he's the GM. So maybe he's a big Lance guy. So I won't shoot that one down, but it's like they did just draft Will Levis.
Mayonnaise in the coffee, though.
I would say it's crazy to bring this up, but I would say the Dallas Cowboys. I think Dak has 1 year left. Do they really want to opt for 4 to 5 more years of the Dak experience?
How about
that could be a long shot, but
how about Tampa Bay?
Exactly. That was the next team. Tampa Bay, exactly. I mean, Baker Mayfield, he's the projected starter. Like, come on, man. So
I was never a Kyle Trask guy.
Right.
I don't like Kyle Trask. I think he's got kind of a noodle arm and he's a statue.
Yeah. So but I like what you brought up, Baller. You said that I think Lance will get reps in the preseason. I mean, I guess do we expect Brock Purdy to play in the season, or he'll just play like a few series? But I think they want to showcase Lance, whether it's to get him reps, to get him prepared to be the backup, or to showcase him off to the other team. So you win by doing both. By having Lance play a lot in the preseason, you accomplish both of those things. I gotta say first, hot diggity dog. I appreciate that $5 super sticker, Blue Truth. Thank you for watching the stream tonight. I hope all is well. We also have 49er Minded in the building. What's good? Hope
What
all is
up,
well.
Lee?
Bashar. Let's see. 49er Jeff says Trey Lance has to ball out in these preseason games. Yeah, I completely agree. I completely agree.
Hey, one thing I did notice Shanahan talk about was how he said this is probably going to be, I'm kind of rewording it, but this is going to be the biggest preseason as far as I'm trying to think exactly how he worded it, but there's a lot of stock in this preseason when it comes to Trey and Darnold and Allen. I think he learned a lot last year. I think they obviously seen something in Purdy. If they made Sudfeld the number 2, Sudfeld's no longer on the team. They moved Purdy up. So they seen something in Purdy, but I don't think they put enough stock in what they might have seen in him. So I think they kind of learned something last year, like, hey, because, I heard him talk about Brandon Allen today, like, hey, man, he did a hell of a job, in our mini OTAs, whatever it's called. So that kind of caught my attention, like, hey, good stuff. Hey, pay attention, be on it, pay full attention and don't be scared to, shoot the shot, shoot it from the hip. If you got a gut feeling about one of these guys or a feeling, if all of a sudden you see, hey, whoa, Trey Lance, it really is, looking different, hey, shoot the shot. That's just the way I see it. So that's another little takeaway that I took is it's going to be a very interesting preseason to see how these guys all compete.
Something I thought was maybe one of the most interesting things, before I tell you that, the one team you didn't mention, Jay, in terms of potential landing spots for Trey Lance is the one I think maybe it's the best potential team, and it's the Minnesota Vikings. Kirk Cousins is he's on the last year of his deal.
Right.
I know you guys watch quarterback. We might talk a little quarterback, but the way he was kind of screaming and but he was in pain like that whole show.
Oh,
He
yeah.
was just groaning and moaning and grunting. But he's taking Tuesdays off. You won't catch him there on Tuesday. Don't do it. The Vikings, especially like if Kirk gets banged up and they get off to a slow start, that could be a team would be like, hey, you know what, Trey Lance, let's bring the Minnesota kid back home. You're not going to play him 49ers. Hey, we'll take our kid back and see what he's got because Kirk, I think he's probably out the door. I think the writing's on the wall. The Vikings, obviously they cut Dalvin Cook. Like, I think they know, like, they're not a Super Bowl contender. So I could see them kind of maybe pivoting at some point, especially if Trey has a big-time preseason. I'm telling you, that's going to boost his stock. And I've had people tell me, oh, man, it's preseason. That doesn't mean nothing. But I remember Matt Schaub was a quarterback for the Atlanta Falcons early in his career. He was a third-round pick. And he wasn't playing much in the regular season. He was a backup. But he had some good preseason games. Next thing you know, there's a market for him. And the Texans called him up. They traded multiple picks to go get him. So it does happen. A good preseason will do wonders for Trey Lance in terms of, hey, maybe the Niners want to hold on to him, but also teams will call wanting to acquire that asset. So I wanted to throw that out there. But something I found really interesting about this presser was how Shanahan, I wish I wrote down the exact quote, but he's talking about Deebo Samuel sending him those shirtless pics, but it's not about that. It's about, he talks about Deebo. He calls him like one of the best players in the league. So that's just how highly he thinks of Deebo Samuel. And that really just kind of captivated my mind. And it makes me think Deebo's going to have this big bounce back season, fellas. Like last year, we all know what he said about it. He was disappointed in his year last year, but I think big bounce back season for Deebo. I'm just loving what I'm hearing, especially today. I'm loving what I'm hearing about Deebo Samuel.
My God, man, you just got me thinking of Ayuk. It's like I'm about to take off. Deebo's like I'm never going to put that film on again. CMC stays right. Like I could go on and on. The Hargrave, the Bosa. Hey, man, it's My God, I can't wait. Hey, did any one of y'all see McCrary ball? I hate to just immediately switch the subject, but now that we're talking about, did y'all see all the linebackers take a picture together shirtless? I think it's the shirtless thing. That
I
man
missed that.
McCrary, that man McCrary ball, bro. Like that man is just straight stacked. That
Saying he
man.
lived. Saying he
I
lives.
thought
man
about
is-
photoshopping myself in there shirtless, but then I was like, no, dude, you're doing too much, baller. Like you do not fit in there with those monstrous that linebacking core. We got the best linebacking core in the NFL.
Absolutely. No, absolutely. Absolutely.
Hey,
but
go
yeah.
ahead, Jay. No, you're good.
I was just gonna say I would love to hear a stat line prediction for Deebo Samuel this year. Obviously, he had a regretful year last year. He's coming into camp, best shape of his life, what seems like it. So hey, predict a stat line for Deebo. Do you think he'll lead the 49ers in catches this year? Let's start off with Kelts.
Oh, my screen just man, hey, I just I didn't put no thought into this, and I just heard the number 11s just screaming in my head. 11 touchdowns, 1,100 yards, and I want to say something like maybe 80-something receptions, but I could kind of see him not being utilized as much as a running back. Maybe every so often, you know what I'm saying? But I think it's going to be I think they're going to man, it's going to be hard for teams when it comes a full season of CMC. Hey, who you going to take away? See, and then it's like, man, I'm haven't even talked about George Kittle yet. Hey, man, if we could stay healthy, bro, there's no reason why we should not be dominant. Like, I mean, like we were talking earlier, hey, put the ball caps on in the fourth quarter. Jerry Rice and Steve Young status. Like, we should be dominant. We should be, pummeling, if I said that right. We should just be dropping the hammer on teams. Like, there's no excuses. I think Jerry Rice came out today. I seen someone quote him saying, no excuses. The 49ers should win a Super Bowl. Like, no excuses. Hey, even if you got to go to your third quarterback, hey, I don't care if you got to win a Super Bowl with Wildcat. Like, get it done. Get it freaking done.
Will Deebo have the most receptions on the team? Jay, that's a really tough question. I feel like it's, him, Ayuk. I think I'm going to lean BA in terms of receptions. But here's where I think Deebo wins out is total yards. I could see Deebo having, 1,200 receiving yards and then another 400 rushing. So that would kind of give him the total yards title Deebo – I'm expecting somewhat like Kelt said, double-digit TDs, 9, 10, 11, somewhere in that range for Deebo. But let's get him back to his all-pro form because, hey, Kyle Shanahan's calling him one of the best players in the league. We just saw it a couple years ago. Now, and here's the thing, fellas. I think Deebo can win down the field. Like Deebo, we know him as this gadget guy, and he's catching a lot of stuff like behind the line of scrimmage or like little quick slants, the quick stuff. I think Deebo has the ability to win downfield, and I'm hoping that Kyle kind of expands it a little bit because now the book is kind of out on Deebo, right? He's tough, he's hard to tackle, he's rugged, he's phenomenal after the catch. I think this is where you expand him a little bit and you start giving him some double moves. Give him a sluggo, a slant, and go. All these teams are sitting on the slant. I want to hit some plays over the top. Deebo, show these fools you can win downfield because I know you can. I remember his rookie year. I think it was Jimmy, whoever. Someone threw him. It was a 50-50 ball, and he went up and he just bullied the corner.
Was
he's
that
not
Detroit?
The tallest dude, but he just bullied him, caught it. It was a long catch. I wish I had a photographic
I think it's
memory
Detroit.
and I could tell you. But it could have been. And I know it happened. I saw it. Deebo can win downfield. He's a bully at the catch point. Like, Deebo's just a dog.
Yeah. I think it was when Garoppolo kind of underthrew him. I think it could be that one. But
was it like it was like the right sideline, like down the field on the right side? Yeah.
I think that was in Detroit, if I'm remembering right. And hey, I would love to see it. I know Deebo, Kyle has his ways because of the stature. So, but like you said, I feel like he could he could win some of those battles. But yeah, man.
If I was predicting Debo's stats, I mean, if you look at his history, he had the All-Pro season in 2021 where he had over 1,400 receiving yards, 365 rushing yards, and 6 touchdowns. He kind of came back to earth last season. And do I expect him to vault up to that All-Pro season he had again? I don't know if he's capable is not the right word. I just don't know if he'll get the amount of touches he needs to accumulate that amount of yards. When if we predict everyone stays healthy, which that's probably not going to happen, not on this Niners team, unfortunately. Not wishing for it, of course, but that's not what his history has shown us. But with the amount of guys that are going to get the ball, CMC, the Ayuk show, Kittle, and then obviously, Debo's going to get his touches as well. I could see him having maybe 1,000 all-purpose yards, maybe like 800 receiving, maybe 200 rushing. And yeah, if he got double-digit touchdowns, that'd be dope. But
I'm taking the over on that, Jay.
I'm taking the over on that. He's never had double-digit receiving touchdowns in his career. The most he's ever had was 6. Would you believe me if I told you that Deebo Samuel only has 12 career touchdowns? Okay, yeah, he was playing with Jimmy.
I meant the yardage. I was taking the over on the yards.
You said Deebo only has 12 reception touchdowns.
12 career touchdowns, yeah.
That's a product of Jimmy. That's Jimmy.
Okay, that's fair. So we'll see what he does with Purdy. But yeah, hey, I hope he goes over the yardage. We know he's a gadget type player, but he can win down the field. Will Shanahan ask him to do that? Because he did have a few plays down the field against Houston, I can remember, and he had a few other plays where he caught some deep balls. But will they ask him to do that on a consistent basis? I think that's the question. But Debo's got the right attitude, and it's good to see. And I just can't wait to see him work with Purdy, in the regular season. So.
Hey, did y'all catch John Lynch talking about keeping things private when it comes to Nick Bosa and how you haven't heard a lot of things? And then John Lynch also was talking about how he kind of prides himself and is committed to keeping things private. And then I think it was shortly after that where Debo was brought in. And I was kind of like, I wonder if that was a little, I immediately was thinking about Debo's last offseason, about how it was, not private, like not even close to it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And I was like, it just like, I was like, is that a shot at Debo right there? Like, hey, man, I was kind of like,
absolutely.
Like, I wonder if that's a situation where Debo might not be here next year. But then Kyle goes on, like Baller just said, how he's one of the best in the NFL. So I think there's some areas where Kyle is cool with it, regardless of what these guys do. And Lynch is kind of like, man, I don't like the what, I think, that's that. I think they kind of complement each other in a good way, though, as well, when it comes to that Lynch and Shanahan. But go ahead.
Yeah, I would say Lynch is presidential. He always says the right thing. Yeah. He's super PC. He's not going to call out. He's not going to call out a player directly, but there's no doubt when players take the Kyler Murray approach to the offseason and you want a new contract, the GM's going to hear that and he's going to see that. So obviously that makes his job a lot harder. So. But that's a great segue, Kelts, of bringing up Nick Bosa. So Nick Bosa, obviously, he's got the 5th-year option. That's for this season. And the 49ers and Nick Bosa's representation are still trying to hammer out a contract extension. So Nick Bosa will not be at camp. I think a reporter asked if Nick Bosa would show up, but just not practice, like a sit-in. And I think they said they're not expecting to see him at all, or at least not hit the field until – they put pen to paper on a new contract. So does that concern you guys? Or I know Fred Warner said, hey, we know when Nick Bosa's here, he's going to show up in the best shape of his life, and he's just going to be Mr. Professional. So are you guys worried about Nick Bosa not being at camp tomorrow?
Not even a little bit, man. It's like, I'm just, I had a conversation with my neighbor. It's like, hey, man, just give him his, 33. Man, that's so much freaking money. Give him his cool 33, whatever that cool sweet spot is that John Lynch was talking about. Let's just keep it private. We're going to find the sweet spot. Nick Bosa, he's chilling, and he's hey man, he's him and CMC, man. They just live it, breathe it. you know, since elementary, man. You know, it's just it's who they are. So it's like you just don't got to worry about those guys. You know, I don't at least, and yeah, that's how I feel about it. Big Bosa.
Yeah, I think you nailed it. I'm not worried about this contract. This is going to get done. And the thing with this is Nick Bosa, he's going to be the highest paid defensive lineman in the NFL. I think that's just clear. It's clear as day. So that being said, I feel like there's just not a lot of wiggle room in the negotiation process. You know, Aaron Donald.
Uh-oh. What a perfect time to freeze that
He's
too.
making 32. He's making just under 32. So Aaron Donald's making 32. Nick Bosa, I think it's going to be maybe 35 mil a year, you know, because you got to make him the highest paid, 33. Probably Parag is saying, "Oh yeah, we'll give you 33, just barely over Aaron Donald." And Bosa's like, "Nah, man, I want 37." And so they're going to find some middle ground somewhere. I expect it to be somewhere in the 35 million per year range, something like that. But yeah, it might last a week. I would probably, if I said over under 4 days, fellas, are you taking the over or the under on the contract being done in 4 days? I'm going to Hawaii in 4 days, so that's Saturday.
That's the day. That's the Bosa day.
I would say over. I would guess over.
Yeah. Isn't it always?
I guess over.
Don't they typically do it in August? It's typically.
Well, I guess that's in what, 2 weeks? Less than 2. Well, it's about 8 days will be August 1st. Yeah, so about a week, maybe August 1st.
Yeah.
They might even already have some significant day where it's like, you know, maybe it's a significant day for Bosa. Maybe it's I don't know, you know, but I'm sure if you sign that contract, you know, if there is something going on with them specifically, you know, I'm sure they'll, you know, like Lynch said, find that sweet spot, get it done. Let him take a little extra time in Florida or wherever the heck he is to, you know what I'm saying, chill.
Yeah, I would agree with you, fellas. I'm not worried. We know what Bosa is when he comes to camp. There's not going to be any worries about him physically, or will he be in shape, or will he have the right mindset? That's usually never a worry with Nick Bosa. And when you look at the contracts of the recent edge rushers, like, what does Bosa want? Does he want the highest total value? Does he want the highest average per year? Does he want the total amount of guarantees? Because I think the player that has the most or highest guarantee right now is Joey Bosa, his brother, 102 million guaranteed. So is that something he wants? Fully guaranteed? Yeah. Fully guaranteed is 80 million. That was by TJ Watt. So he got $2 million more than Joey Bosa. So you got to figure Bosa's going to want at least 82, 83 fully guaranteed $1 million. Because obviously he's going to want to be the highest paid edge rusher. And right now, that player, at least in guarantees and average money per year, is TJ Watt. So that's basically the starting point. That's the starting point.
The ballin' Bosa brothers right there, man. That they show up to the spot and they're both just man, they're going to be swimming in it. But yeah,
and they just signed their quarterback.
You said, what does Bosa want? Just to be funny real quick. Hey, man, Bosa said it. Bosa said it, I think, last year when he was mic'd up. He just wants sackaroonies, man. He just wants he just wants the freaking sack. I wouldn't you know, it just hearing that when they're playing and stuff, like, you know, of course you want to get paid. Of course you want the money. But I bet if you ask Bosa, he's like, man, I just want sacks. like you know, and I love that. I love that because like I was talking about CMC and Bosa, man. It's just in him. It's in him, not on him. You know what I'm saying? So.
Right. No, absolutely. And obviously we'll be very excited to see number 97 in camp. I want to take a quick break real quick to talk about the Straight Out of the Bay NFL Fantasy League real quick. So first, it's the inaugural year for us. We started a fantasy league, 12-team league. I think we have about 2 or 3 open slots. So if anyone's listening right now who's interested in playing some fantasy football, This is my first time playing in a league setting. I usually do like FanDuel,
And it's a
whatever.
free entry.
Free entry. Yeah. So if you guys are interested, you can hit any one of us up. You can DM us, IG, Twitter, YouTube, whatever. Just reach out to us. Let us know if you're interested.
And we're gonna have some kind of prize, whether it's a trophy or a belt or a T-shirt. So the winner of this fantasy league is gonna get something. And the fellas, we've been talking behind the scenes. What is it gonna be? But yeah, we got a couple spots open. So if you're interested, let one of us know. We'll get you in. And I'm looking forward to it. I love the NFL season, and I love the fantasy. One year, fellas, I don't know if you do. I hit like for $6K on DraftKings.
Wow!
And when you hit something like that, it gives you some extra motivation, some of that extra incentive to fill out some of those lineups.
And that's DraftKings. You said DraftKings, but they got fantasy on there too on DraftKings.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Wow. I used to do just like the little Sunday stuff where you could just play like
a daily. Yeah.
Yeah. What is it called? They had the one
FanDuel.
I don't. No, it was DraftKings. I don't know exactly which one it was.
Showdown.
Man, oh man, I was like one play away from 2 G's on one, just like a $10 freaking thing, and it was like it went from 2 G's to it was still 150, whatever it was, but it was like point whatever, one play happened.
Yeah, one play will change the whole thing. To Steve-O, you know, ideally I like to draft as late as possible, just so you kind of get some of the injuries out of the way, or some of the there's like some potential running back holdouts that smart fantasy managers got to monitor right now. It's like, is Saquon going to hold out? Is Josh Jacobs, was he showing up? So I like to do the draft as late as possible, but you know, I like to talk to all of the teams in the league and all the owners and see, you know, when are they available.
Just that
we're leaning toward
too.
August 28th though, Monday, right?
Yeah.
August 28th, ideally, if everyone's available that day, the 28th.
Yeah. Because the following Monday is Labor Day, so people will be out of town. Maybe fantasy would be the last things on their mind. So, yeah, thinking about August 28th, Monday, sometime at night, 8 p.m., something like that. But if you're interested, Steve-O, hey, just hit one of us up. Let us know. So, let's see. Should we talk about? Or let me ask this: is there anything other 49ers news related you guys want to bring up? Or should we talk about some other topics? Let me know.
We signed somebody today, right? We signed who was it? We signed Mitchell.
Cornerback Terrence Mitchell, 1 year deal, veteran cornerback. And it seems like we did that due to the depth issue at cornerback. Now that Darrell Luter Jr., he is on I think he's been placed on the PUP list. He suffered a hyperextended knee and a bone bruise in OTA. So, and Terrence Mitchell, he last played for Tennessee last year. My cousin is actually a Tennessee Titans fan, and he said basically he got in the game due to injuries to other players at his position in front of him. So, you know, I'd be surprised if he makes the roster. It seems like he's kind of like a camp body at this point, but he is a veteran, and I think he has 9 career interceptions. So, you know, hey, that's a plus.
Hey man, I was checking out that same thing, Jay, and I was like, you know, because it got me thinking, like, okay, he's got 9 picks, he's showing the ability. You know, picking the ball off isn't, you know, easy in the NFL nowadays. It seems like, and hey, that would be second on the 49ers in career interceptions. You know, that would be. You know, I was looking at all the career interceptions, and I know we got a lot of young guys, but Gibson would be number 1 with the 32. Then you got Mitchell with 9, and then it goes down to like 5 with Ward and 4 Hufanga, and then, you know, so hey man, if you could pick the ball off and make some game-changing plays, like, because that's the one place where I'm kind of concerned. If a guy like Mooney goes down, a guy like Lenore, or you know, we don't got a gang of guys right there. I know we have Womack. I know we got Womack. I know we got
Ambry.
Yeah, you know, it's like once a couple of injuries. And one thing I do want to bring up about Ambry, I don't know. I believe he still deals with. I don't know how much he might deal with it, but I know in college he dealt with. I think it's called colitis. or it's like a disease in the intestines. And that really bothered him big time in Michigan. And I think it's a disease that kind of sticks with you. So every time I hear people getting on Ambry Thomas, I'm not just saying y'all specifically, but it's like, hey, man, I think he goes through some things that, we might really not know too much about. I actually ran into someone, just in passing, walking on the waterfront, and he had nothing but Michigan gear on. And I asked him about Ambry Thomas, and he was going on and on about his adversity and him dealing with the colitis, I believe it's called. And that just stuck with me. Like, hey, man, sometimes we don't know exactly what's going on behind the scenes with some of these guys. And, maybe it's not being broadcasted either if it's a disease like that. You feel me? So, prayers to that. I'll just say
Absolutely.
that. Real talk.
Definitely. And I'm guilty of kind of beating up on Ambry. I've been saying, hey, he's a cut candidate and all these things. But, hey, the injury to Darrell Luter, who I was high on, that could open the door for Ambry to stick around. And you never know. This quarterback room, they'll put anyone in at a moment's notice. It was Ambry a couple years ago. Last year it was Demo Lenore. So it's like, hey, if you're practicing good, like they will put you in the game. So, hey,
Dante Johnson
might get out there and make an appearance.
Has he been signed to a team, Dante Johnson? Because he can definitely make a return.
But Jalen Hurd got signed.
I know, isn't that crazy? The Texans, right? Or is the Cowboys? Who signed him?
Patriots.
Oh, the Patriots. Okay. Patriots.
Oh, Hurd?
Jalen
Hurd. Yeah,
he came back.
Yeah.
But I guess it's fair. No one wants to go to the Patriots. I mean, I don't know what they're doing up there. Maybe Belichick has lost his mojo. There's no more TB12. So, I'm happy
for you guys. I like me some Mac Jones. I like Mac Jones.
Really?
Sorry. Yeah, I think Mac Jones, I think he's going to be pretty good this year. Last year, they had a freaking defensive coordinator calling the plays. Like, it wasn't going to work. This year, they brought back, is it Bill O'Brien? They brought back somebody who's familiar with an actual offensive guy, like an actual offensive mind. Yeah. So I'm thinking Mac's I'm not saying he's gonna set the world on fire, but I think Mac's gonna be pretty good this year.
I just think about Mac.
Who's he throwing to?
Kendrick
Jalen Hurd, baby. Jalen Hurd. No, they got Juju Smith. They got a Tyquan Thornton. Is Kendrick Bourne still over there?
Kendrick Bourne's still there. I think they got two good tight ends.
They got a tight end. They drafted a tight end. Yeah.
When I think of Mac Jones, I just think like that man's just on the cake. Like that man just got the cake right there. He's shotgunning just. It's a little reminiscent of, Joe Namath. I don't know, but I don't know. Mac Jones. Mac who?
And there's some other 49er news. I guess we got to pay attention to the acquisition of a future punter for the 49ers. Unfortunately, Mitch has been added to the NFI list. He injured his back lifting weights away from the 49ers facility. So I think Lynch said it wasn't that big of a deal, but I mean, we've kind of heard that a lot of times when asked about injuries. Oh, it's not a big deal. He'll be back sooner than you know it. And unfortunately, exactly. So that's something to keep an eye on. It's still early in camp, but yeah, that's some.
What do you guys think about Mitch Wishnowsky, just as a player? Like, do you think he's what level of punter is he? Is he a great punter? Is he good? Is he solid?
Wasn't he a Pro Bowl punter last year? I think, right? I think it was Pro Bowl or All Pro.
I just felt like a good year ago. I think he got lit up.
Oh, it was Jake Brendel.
I think he got lit up trying to make a tackle, man. I just remember the time he got lit up trying to make a tackle, and it was a while back, and me and Jay were just, hey, get down, Mitch. Just get down, bro. Hey, you don't got to be the savior. You're like, hey, get down, Mitch. That's – hey, I think Mitch is cool. It's a – not John Lynch. Kyle Shanahan said, it shouldn't be that big of a deal. Is what it is.
I think he's just kind of average as a punter. I know once in a while they talk about his knuckle punt or whatever it is, right? And it's the knuckle punt, right? Occasionally a punt returner will bobble one of his balls and it'll hit the floor, and you hope that one of your guys jump on it. But I mean, that's nothing consistent. Once in a while, he'll shank one out of bounds. Rarely. I would say he's just kind of middle of the road, middle of the pack as a punter, in my opinion. I don't see booming 65-yard punts where the punter's backpedaling while he catches. Like, I don't see that. Like, Mitch he's cool.
One of the most important stats, I think, for a punter is how many punts you get in the opposing team's 20-yard line. So it's all about field position, right? So based on that, do you think Mitch Wisnowski ranks in the top 5 in the most punts in the opponent's 20-yard line last season?
I'm gonna say yes, because I feel like I see. I'm having visions of like punts being downed like at the 5-yard line.
So there's no way he's average.
I just said it out my mouth.
Excellent.
I start walking it back because I have these visions of all these punts being down inside the 5-yard line. So while he's not booming them, you know what? You're right. His placement is pretty good. Okay, I'm sorry, Mitch. I'm sorry.
Show some respect. Show some respect to Mitch.
Yes, sir.
No, but he ranks top 5 in punts in the opposing opponent's 20-yard line. So he had 32 punts that got the team starting at their 20 or worse. So, that's pretty good. Top 5. I think he's improved. I'll say that. I think he's definitely improved. Well, I think the 49ers saw that.
Bad. I think that's bad. Kyle Shanahan, really? Why are we punting so much? Put that ball in the end zone.
Damn it.
Fair.
Come on.
Fair.
Come on. We ain't had 30 touchdown passes since Garcia in 2001.
But we got 30 punts down inside the 20.
Shit.
Hey, it's it's 3 phases to the game, baby. The punter's got to be good too at his job.
You're right.
The specialists.
Right, specialists are very important. Well,
how many punters have made it to who was it? Ray Guy or something like that made it to the Hall of Fame? How many?
I think it's only one, right? It's probably only one.
It could be Ray Guy. There it is. I'm surprised. I don't know how I knew that, but I did.
Well, he is one of the most popular, punters ever, especially with a name like that.
Ray Guy. Yeah.
Well, fellas, I mean, we've reached an hour for the show. Just want to say a huge shout out to everyone who tuned in to watching Straight Out of the Bay tonight. Amin couldn't make the show. He's on vacation, but looking forward to him coming back the next time we do a show. I would imagine next week we'll have some training camp news. So we'll be doing this every Monday night. I would say from now on, at least, but definitely once the season starts, we'll definitely be here every Monday night, 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Feel free to like, subscribe this channel, wherever you're watching, whether it's Kelch Chronicles, Bay Area Baller 18, Amin the Dream, Jay in the Bay. We appreciate all the support. Any last words, topics, quick roundtable you guys want to bring up?
Yeah. Hey, we also have a YouTube channel, Straight Out of the Bay. I'm pretty sure it's spelled just like that, Straight Out of the Bay. I need to start putting it in the link. But on my if you're on my channel, if you go in the description, I got all 4 of our channels. I don't have the Straight Out of the Bay one. Hey, go show some love. Go subscribe over there. Hit the like button. Hit the bell notification to all of us. You never know when we might be popping up with videos or shorts. Aussie. What up, Bebop? Yay. Hey, man, check us out. We appreciate the support, man. 49ers, faithful. Rise up. Every time I started, yay, let's go. Hey, I started thinking about that because I never knew that was like the Atlanta Falcons thing, rise up. And I was kind of like, and I was kind of like, I didn't know it. And it just kind of naturally came out when I started doing YouTube, you feel me? But I start kind of thinking about that now. It's like, hey, just in case anybody thinks I'm trying to put a little, hey, maybe that's the South that comes out of me. I got the little Southern twang. But, hey, man, just keep it lit. Stay up, stay blessed. Amin, have a freaking blast. I also have Amin at the Dreams YouTube channel in the description. Hey, man, he's on the other side of the pond. Maybe he'll go link up with Paul. Who is it? Who's over there? Paul Hope or something? Yeah, Paul.
Oh, yeah.
we got some guys over there in the UK. I know Amin ain't over in the UK, but I think he's close by. So hey, if you're watching Amin or you catch
Definitely
us
in another
later,
time zone.
have a freaking blast, man. Live it up. I got to get over there, one day and go check out. I think that's my homeland over there in Spain and all those places. So, man, man, we appreciate everybody. It's always good to link up with y'all. Mondays, 8 o'clock. Hey, come through, kick it with us, man. 49ers all day, every day. Let's get it. Let's go. Yee!
Hey, fellas, it's that time of year where I'm going to be locked in on all these training camp reports. It's like there's a plethora of writers to choose from. Grant, Jack, Larry, you name it. If they're there, I'm going to be consuming it, kind of giving my opinion on the second hand. But, fellas, I'm glad to be back. I'm going to leave you with this because I'm trying to think of, who's a guy who could just kind of really surprise some people in training camp. And it's a player who I loved when we drafted him. Kelts, me and you were live together when he was picked with Bashar. Shout out 49er Minded. But Danny Gray. Fellas, man, I really liked Danny Gray coming out of SMU. I know he had a lackluster first. I feel like that's kind of par for the course with Kyle Shanahan. Rookie wide receivers, like you saw BA was, he didn't reach his full capabilities year one. But I've got my ears open for any Danny Gray reports because I do think he's a talented player. He's the fastest player, at least on offense. I'm thinking at least on offense, if not on the whole team. But Danny, I believe in you, dog. Open some eyes. I want to hear some good things coming about Danny Gray and also Braden Willis. One of my scorching hot takes is Braden Willis will be the tight end 2 by season's end. I don't expect it to be week 1 because, again, Shanahan, with these rookies, sometimes he kind of slow plays them. But Braden Willis, I think he's a dominant blocker. Not the biggest guy, but he gives you everything he's got. He's got really good angles as a blocker. He's good after the catch. So just a couple names that I'm really monitoring. Danny Gray, Braden Willis. I love this time of the year and glad we could link up.
Man, I think there's going to be multiple guys. I think multiple second year and rookies. I think Tig. I think Jair Brown is going to immediately be really
Hufanga
good.
Was talking him up today.
I think he's going to immediately. I want to say great. I just almost want to the ball. And then I feel like Womack is really going to do something. And then, I was talking about, McCrary Ball being all jacked up. You know what I'm saying? And I think I think we're going to see multiple second-year players, rookies, Latu, man. For some reason, I don't want to fall asleep on the Polynesian, man. There's something. They got something in that DNA, man, that shows some passion when it come on the field, man. I know we didn't see it a lot in Alabama, but man, I'm so excited for this damn year, you guys. Hey, man, like Rice said, no excuses. Let's win the Super Bowl.
Hey, let me give you a quick, just something quick on Latu because I was watching some film on him, and him and the DB, Alabama was running it down. I forget who they were playing. They were running it down their throat, and him and this DB kept going one-on-one where Latu was blocking him in the run game. Yeah. And the first time, the DB got the better end of him, kind of like flipped him onto his back, right? Oh, Cam Latu, the next play, he's like, me and you. You can see him pointing at this DB, and then he just goes at him, pancakes him.
And woke him
up.
It
was like, that kind of showed me what I needed to see about Cam Latu. Like, he's got some dog in him.
Bro, that happened to me. You just brought back old memories in high school football, man. We were playing some big boys, and I ain't the biggest dude, bro. But I'll tell y'all off camera. But you brought back some memories right there for sure. I'll leave it for another show because I could go for a minute. Yeah.
I'm looking at Khalil Davis recover from torn ACL. I think he's got a good opportunity to be like a platoon defensive tackle. I mean, we're not really expecting much from Javon Kinlaw. So I think Khalil Davis could definitely, he's got that DJ Jones body type. And I think he can make some plays out there. I think he'll have every opportunity to. So we'll see what he does in camp. Also, who was my? There was another guy. I like what you said about Danny Gray. But we've kind of been, looking for that. I just think he hasn't been given the opportunity. You just got to get the ball in his hands by any means necessary. Fastest guy to west of the Mississippi. You got to get this guy the ball, man. So, but yeah, hey, I agree with all you guys. Training camp, 10 hours away. Can't wait. Looking forward to it. And we appreciate everyone for tuning in tonight.
Hey, are you cool on time for just a second?
Yeah.
Jay? Hey, what's your guys's? I kind of mentioned it about the cornerback injury to cornerback. I just feel like that's the one area where like you could really pick on someone one-on-one. Just an offensive coordinator. You could be okay, I'm zeroed in over here.
I remember Brandon Allen and Fitzpatrick just going at him.
Exactly. Like, what's your guys's? And I know a kind of another easy answer could be McKivitz, but what's your guys's biggest concern? Like, what's going to be? Is there something other than like injuries, McKivitz, and the cornerbacks where it's like, I'm kind of maybe an underrated concern, like whether even if it's coaching or
if Brock is Brock, same version he was last year, the arm is the same. I think obviously that's not a worry. I think you said not to mention health. I dig that, but as far as any other position, none really comes to mind. I think we're pretty much set.
Yeah, man.
I feel starter wise, we're pretty much set at most of the positions. I don't. McKivitz.
And that's why it's Super Bowl time. That's why it's
Brock,
Super Bowl. It's hard to even find,
Right.
I guess you could say fellas.
D end. Okay.
Looking at D end opposite Bosa, like I got some question marks. Like, I want Drake Jackson to be that dude, but this is the same dude who couldn't even get dressed up in uniform for the last 6 games or whatever. So opposite Bosa and then right tackle, like you guys said, those are probably my 2 concerns.
I mean, can Cleveland Farrell, can he be Arden Key 2.0 for the 49ers?
I think he
can. That's possible. I think.
I mean, but that would be Arden Key had his success on the inside for the most part. And it's like, then we got Armstead, we got Hargrave. I want someone off the edge. Like I want that D Ford replacement, like that speed rusher coming opposite Bosa. I'm just not sure it's on the roster. That's why I'm hoping John Lynch is still kind of monitoring some of these guys out there.
So Hargraves is going to be basically taking the reps of like a Menahue and I'm trying to think who else was on the inside. Kinlaw.
And,
like I'm just
my
thinking
boy Kevin Givens.
I'm just thinking of the impact that Hargraves. That's why I'm so confident with the Drake Jackson or Cleveland Farrell. And I'm skipping someone. I know there's Bill Jr., Austin Bryant.
Barry Hyder still there.
So I'm looking at that combination. I'm looking at a resurgence from Armstead. You already have Bosa, resurgence from Armstead, and then you got freaking Hargraves. And I'm just that alone, how much that's going to open it up for a Drake or a Cleveland, or, you can't double team them all. It's kind of like that domino effect or that ripple effect. Once stuff starts breaking down from the havoc of Bosa and Hargraves, it's going to the domino is going to start falling. I don't know. I just got that.
I'm being selfish because you're right. We got 3
you had to pick something.
Superstars.
You had to pick something.
You got 3 stars on the D line. Typically, Niners are rushing 4. It's like I'm getting greedy. I want a 4th horse over there.
That's what could, you know what I'm saying, produce that.
Put them over the top. That's what could get you over the top. And they might be, because we know they got about 9 or 10 mil of cap space. They might be waiting until mid-season to make one of these moves like we have previously, right? Emmanuel Sanders, Christian McCaffrey. So I don't know what they have. They got something in mind with this 10 mil of cap space, but we're guessing at what it is.
We got a Menahue and Jordan Willis mid-season, so
yes,
maybe that's a move we can make. Hey, I would take a Chase Young. I would take a flyer on Chase Young.
Hell yeah.
I know we'd have to pay him the following year, but he could take us over the top.
Hey, who costs more between you bring him up you've brought him up quite a few times, Baller, Hunter from Minnesota.
Hunter,
Like, how much money is he looking at compared to like a Chase Young or?
I'd have to pull it up, but I want to say he was making like $9 million, if I'm remembering correctly. That's why he wants a contract extension. So I don't know how, but maybe mid-season. That's where
And then
mid-season you can get
still
away.
out there?
Ngakwe's still out there, and then Jadeveon Clowney. I like me some Clowney, although I know he's not the best locker room guy, so maybe they'll pass on him.
Yeah.
He was mad that Clowney said that the Browns were setting up Myles Garrett to have all the success, and he didn't like that. So maybe there might be a rift there with Bosa. But and then a couple veterans like Justin Houston, Melvin Ingram. Like there's just some guys out there who I think it would be worthy of bringing in.
Danielle Hunter's cap hit is $13 million this year. So if the Vikings traded him, they would still owe him that money. So it doesn't seem like it would make sense for the Vikings to trade him, Danielle Hunter. But
unless they're out of it mid-season, and then they just want to pick for him.
That's true. Yeah, exactly. If they can get like a day one pick for him, then yeah, maybe they would. So. But yeah, that's going to be interesting to see if, like Baller said, we still have $9 million a salary cap. So, I mean, that could be a position that could bring us over the top. I mean, that I would say, like you said, edge, but also maybe the depth at corner. And, does Demo Lamore, does he continue to build on his success he had last year, or could he be Ambry Thomas? We don't know. I mean.
Hey, so there's a little bit of stuff, a little friendly banter going on between Ayuk and the hyena Demo, right? Y'all kind of seen that? Like, I think there's some talk about, who's faster. Y'all haven't heard nothing about that?
I haven't seen that. I saw Ayuk and Fred Warner going back at each other.
Yeah, and then Ayuk, he came out and said, hey, anyone in a white jersey, F you. Like, hey, I'm coming for y'all. Like, when training camp, the defender's going to have the white on. And then I think Demo came out and said something. He said something to Ayuk, but put the Pinocchio nose, like kind of like wink, wink, like I just love it, man. Hey, so watch out for Demo. Watch out for a little punching of the helmets when it comes to Demo and Ayuk. Hey, I love it though, man. I can't wait to see
fireworks.
Who knows? Maybe Fred Warner's going to yoke up on Danny Gray, kind of, like last year with Ayuk to pull that, dog out, or hey, put your cell phone down. I think that's what it was. He was on his cell phone a lot last year, Danny Gray. I remember it being mentioned, something about, little stuff. They test these rookies. They test these rookies and these young dudes in little ways. It reminds me of the offensive lineman kept on asking Brock Purdy to come out and play poker, come party. And Brock would always be like, nah, bro, I got to study. They'd ask him again, kind of like, oh, you're a square, kind of, I might be putting some sauce on it, but I was like, I appreciate that shit. Hey, look, young Brock, he's getting tested. Hey, he don't want nothing to do with no poker. Like, hey, I'll build my chemistry with y'all on the field at the facility. But other than that, man, hey, I'm getting my sleep. Hey, I got to call it a night. You know what I'm saying? So I appreciate that. I'm just, I'm curious. Hey, who do you think, if there's going to be some, what would I call it? Some funk, some little riffraff, some encouraging, hype, kind of like Ayuk and Fred Warner last year. If there's going to be someone that needs that dog pulled out in him, who could you see? Where do you think the noise is going to come from in this training camp? And then we also got the Oakland Raiders. I think we're going to be practicing with Oakland. So I'm curious.
Yeah, Jimmy G. And Jimmy G is healthy. So
yeah.
I got an idea. I'm looking at Cam Latu. I think, the rookies, sometimes the rookies come in, they want to prove themselves, whereas the veterans are like, hey, man, it's just training camp, take it easy a little bit. But the rookies, they want to, hey, I'm out there. I'm going full speed. I'm blocked. I could see Cam Latu. I told you about that interaction he had with the DB kind of being fired up. On the defensive side, who would that be? I mean, is Latu running with the ones? That's a question. Is it Fred Warner, or is it a safety? Is it Hufanga? right? Of something like that. But I could see Cam Latu, the rookie, kind of mixing, or Braden Willis. I think one of those tight ends.
Hey, and another thing that caught me was Feliciano, man. Is there any chance? I think you might have mentioned it, Baller, about is there any chance like someone can overthrow freaking McKivitz, man? Is there any, that's another depth spot too, behind McKivitz. I think we got more, Pryor. I think besides Moore and Pryor, who's behind him, so yeah, it's interesting. And then another thing, Brock Purdy. He was kind of, how do I say? He was kind of, he came out, telling people to shut their mouths, and sometimes you could do something like that and it could kind of backfire on you, but I wonder if anybody else on the team kind of be like, hey, look, Brock came out kind of like, on fire and look, that kind of rose him up, not just, off the field, on the field. I'm kind of looking, I wonder if that could be contagious, as far as, hey, look, this is how Brock did it. He came in, on fire. Let's, I don't know. I'm kind of just thinking if someone's going to kind of see those kind of things and take that path. I'll say it like that.
Yeah, I feel you. Don Dawson said, when is Bosa going to finally sign? Sorry, not sure if you guys talked about it. Yeah, we did. We're thinking – I had put the over-under at 4 days, and it sounds like the over. It sounds like most of us are thinking, a week to 2 weeks, something in that range.
August.
Yeah.
I would say so.
And, hey, will that affect the salary cap? Like, how does that – or because,
I've heard that extending him, they could actually – reduce his pay this year.
Yeah.
And then, the Niners, they love to backload it, right? You look at these contracts, 3, 4, 5 years down the road, and it's like,
Armstead.
It just keeps climbing that salary. So I would expect more of the same, but I have heard that they could actually reduce his cap hit this year. But in my mind, you got this $9 million. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how they do it. Parag, they got their calculators out.
Bosa's cap hit this year is $17 million. So even when he signs his extension, it won't. I don't think it'll necessarily affect the cap this year. Like, it won't really go into effect until next year. But it should like you said, Baller, it should lower his cap hit. So it would make more sense for the Niners to get this deal done sooner than later, to lower his cap hit for this season. So.
Hey,
but yeah. Hey, same here. Huge shout out to everyone that tuned in tonight. Whichever channel you're watching, we appreciate everyone tuning in. We'll most likely be back next Monday talking about the Niners' first week of training camp. So looking forward to it. Any last thoughts, Kels, for the faithful?
Hey, stay up. Hey, get ready, man. It reminds me of a Baller, man. It smells like football. Smells like freaking
smells
football.
Like football.
Let's go, baby. Let's go.
Hey, fellas,
and we'll end it on that. We'll end it on that note. Oh, go ahead.
End it on that. I'm in Hawaii. Who knows? I might go live beachside one time. We'll see.
You'll pull the Kels Chronicles.
Soon,
Kels did the same thing.
That's right.
Hey, hit up a fire show. Hey, just go to Waikiki Beach, bro. Hey, they do it every night. Hey, you could catch a free fire show, a free one. You don't gotta. Hey, you could catch some free luau's, and you just gotta. Hey, man. It could be done, man. So it's out there. Hey, enjoy it, my man, to the fullest. Real talk.
Absolutely. You guys have a great night. Always good linking up with you, gents, and we'll see y'all on the next one. Peace.